talk the whole time like Don Corleone. You come to me on the day when they want to feature my daughter. You come to me on the days, my Sunday to ask for a feature.
You ready?
Yeah.
So I like to start from the beginning with everybody, and I'm curious myself. When were you born and where were you born?
I was born August 8th, 1996, and I was born in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital in Watts. Okay. That was before it burned down. I think they hooked it up after that and moved it a little bit, but yeah, I was born there.
Okay. So your family's from out here?
Yeah, my mom, she was already born out here. Her parents, I think, were from, I think actually already born out here too.
Okay.
My grandparents are like drug addicts. They used to be at least. Yeah. One of them passed away and the other one got clean after like 107 years. So yeah, but with that being said, yeah, grew up out here. I'm from South Central LA. Grew up my whole life there. The only time I left was to go to prison, and I realized there's other places that exist. Kind of opened my eyes. It was like kind of like a bittersweet thing. Opened my eyes up. Like, okay, there's other places. I just had to go on a prison bus to see. But you know, it's cool. I met a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life that ended up being very similar to ours. You know, and I realized LA really ain't that different from a lot of other places. Like the DJ Quick song, like, you know, like he'd be like, oh, it's just like Compton. Everywhere else, you know, because
see the same hoes too.
See the same hoes, most definitely.
Okay, so who raised you primarily?
The streets. Not just kidding. My mother, she was a single mother. She was with my little brother and sister's dad for a little bit, and I have an older brother. Well, that's what they say, but we don't know. But for sure, my mom has an older son from a certain guy, and then it was my dad, and then she had 2 kids with another dude. So yeah, mom was getting busy. She was out there doing. I don't know what she was on, but
what's one of the first things you learned just watching your mom growing up?
The hustle. She had me when she was 17. She had my brother when she was 14. She had me when she was 17. So by the time she had me, she was living. That's when she moved out to South Central, right? So growing up, she was always the type of, like, she'd hustle. She would have a job and still afterward go sell bootleg movies and chocolates and, you know what I'm saying? And when it came to 4th of July, we selling fireworks, and when it came to Valentine's Day, we selling teddy bears, and on Christmas, we wrapping gifts, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I learned how to make them the envelopes for my letters in prison, because she already had taught me how to hit them corners. We used to wrap presents, and then she was just a hustler like that. When we started smoking weed, she started selling blunt wraps and lighters. And then when the other homie started smoking meth, she started selling poogie pipes and dope, you know what I'm saying? She just got with the time, so she was a hustler. Yeah. So I for sure, mind you, this was all while working the 9 to 5 still, and still doing what she had to do with being a single mother, so I give her that.
Yeah, stay grinding, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the earliest thing that you could remember?
Oh, my mom tripped out on this. I was young, bro. My auntie had took me to Disneyland. You know what I'm saying? She's gay, but she wasn't gay back then. Well, she probably was, but she would have had a whole husband. So my Theo and them, they took me out to Disneyland. I remember because there was this toy, this old like Buzz Lightyear toy. Yeah. And you press the button, it was spinning, whatever. But I had told my mom about that, and she was surprised that I remembered because I was a kid, I guess. She ended up showing me a picture of how small I was, but I do end up remembering that. After that, it was still like scattered memories, but for sure, that's one of the most like vivid ones I still can remember to this day.
For sure. Who introduced you to like music, just as far as listening to music? What do you remember hearing?
Oh, my mom too. Like I'm influenced a lot for like a deeper knowledge of hip hop and music because of my homeboys that I grew up around, like my older homeboys from my neighborhood. But my mom for sure showed me like different genres way before that. Like, you know, even from the R&B and country to, you know, the pop music. Because, you know, growing up in South Century, we only getting the intake of really the gangster music. You know what I'm saying? At that time, it was like West Side Connection, and we was still riding off the high of the Chronic. Even though I was still, you know what I'm saying, I was young, it's still barely fading away, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we were still off that gangster music. So she ended up showing me a lot of different kinds of music, like even just different music, classical music, jazz. Sometimes when she'd be in the car, she wanted to just like kind of tune out, so she would put that on, right? For whatever reason, she was doing it, but I was soaking up game. She'll show me all the Spanish stuff, corridos and all that, and all the Spanish singers and so on and so forth. So I ended up learning a lot about music like that. I seen it differently.
For sure. You smoke weed?
Absolutely, I'm faded right now. Toasted.
How old were you when you started smoking weed?
I was about like 9 years old the first time I started smoking weed, but consistently I was like about 11. And then after that I smoked weed all the way until I turned 17 when I went to juvenile hall. And that was the only time I stopped. And I started right back again right when I got out.
You got any like funny stories first smoking story or anything?
Oh, I have, I mean, countless amounts, dude. I don't think that, I think the smoking stories and the memories are some of those things where you just had to be there.
Yeah.
Cause that's like trying to tell somebody some stuff and we were all high and we were just all faded. It's like one of those moments sometimes where the event actually wasn't funny, but somebody just started laughing and that just made everybody else just start laughing, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of great memories like that, but weed, bro, it's just like a happy, like I ain't never met one dude that was angry off weed, you know what I'm saying? Like unless he was influenced by other stuff, but like just weed, like it's hard to be mad off weed, man.
Yeah.
So.
What you prefer, sativa or indica?
Whatever's free is for me, my boy. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I still buy stress weed if you got it. if it's a good deal, you know what I'm saying? If the deal makes sense, I still smoke. I don't care if like a lot of people be trying to like, oh, I only smoke this or that's just trash. I only smoke Zod. Like I don't even know what the fuck that means. But I used to go buy weed off a dude at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't have medical shops. I was 9, 10 years old trying to convince a grown ass man to sell me weed. You know what I'm saying? And he like, you the police? How the fuck I'm gonna be the police? I'm a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my logic. Like yeah, I get it though. Like man, you know what I'm saying? Cops are dirty. Now that I know they go do some shit like that to set you up on some entrapment shit. You know? But with that being said, yeah, like it don't matter to me, bro. If you got weed, I'll smoke it, man. It's very rare that I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to smoke that.
For sure.
Yeah.
What's your dream blunt rotation? You could smoke weed with any 5 people that are
five?
5 people that are like.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, there's probably be a lot of people gonna be mad, but I'll just bring a lot of the dead homies back so we can smoke a blunt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily that they was the biggest pothead, but smoking a blunt with them one more time would be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll bring all the homies back.
For sure. So when did you get introduced to like making music? Like you saw some people recording, or like how did you figure out?
Nah, my homeboys from my neighborhood. So after my extensive knowledge already, after like the homies basically made me go and do a hip hop like college course, because I used to go and I was young, so I'll be like, oh, let's go smoke weed, and they were older, so I'll be like, oh, before we go smoke weed, like you gotta watch the documentary on Big Pun or Jadakiss and D Block and all this shit, right? And I used to be like, bro, I don't want to watch this. Why Corrupt was calling out names, and I don't want to watch what the firm was, with AV and Oz, you know what I'm saying, Foxy Brown. I don't want to know none of this shit. But he was doing it. And I did love music to the point where, okay, once I started sitting down and watching it, with me having ADHD and shit, I'm like, cool, this is pretty dope. So later on down the line, they heard me rap, and I just seen the money. I seen the money signs in their eyes. It was like Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob, bro. They seen that, and they was immediately like, well, you need to get in the studio with this one when I was like 16. And I still didn't even we didn't officially get me in the studio till what, like 4 years later, 5 years later? And then that was one time in between my prison term, and they were like, hey, bro, just try it. I wanted to get a job, bro. I had spent like 7 years in and out of jail, prison, and juvenile hall, so I'm like, all that chunk, like, it adds up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, man, I'm trying to get a job, man, and like live a regular life and get an ID and a driver's license. And they were like, just give it a shot, bro. We pay for it. So, if it's free, it's for me. So I'm like, cool. So I ended up going to the studio. We ended up doing some shit, bro. We ended up getting like going viral off that So Rough, So Tough LA remix. And, shout out to everybody that was on that, man. And my boy Avenue Baby that put that together, because that really jump started everything. That showed me that we could make something out of it. So after that, we got making my Instagram account, made my YouTube channel, made everything, got me on distribution. So shout out to the homies, and yeah.
And that's when you were 20?
This is when I was like about like 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like about 25. I think they had already got me in the studio at like 23, but I went back to prison. And they already were putting my stuff out on the internet, so I didn't really even fuck with the internet like that, you know what I'm saying? Even before I went to jail, I grew up in the street, but like we used to play outside, drinking water out of somebody's water hose, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we used to be outside riding our bikes, get on the metro, so I didn't really used to be on the internet like that, so then the homies was putting that shit out, and it was going baby viral, that's what we said. Because it was just like, all the community right there, the, gang members listening to that shit, so that's neither here nor there though, yeah.
Where does your rap name come from?
Wessmont, Skeme. Wessmont is the area I live in. So in South Central Los Angeles, that's the city I live in. And when I ride home from prison, I still write Los Angeles, California on the thing. But within South Central, there's like districts, broken off into districts, like the Crenshaw district, you know what I'm saying? And my district happened to be called Wessmont, And it's just small. It's not even a square. It's like weird shaped sizes. They're just districts. And that's where I grew up. So the homies started like kind of pressing that, like, we probably be from Wessmont, specifically from South Central, and I felt like, I know there were some other people already doing it, man, and shout out to them, but I just feel like I wanted to help put the section on the map in particular, because I already knew everybody knew about South Central, and not everybody knew about Wessmont, so I just wanted to shed some light. So we ended up making it kind of like an ASAP thing, and like everybody was gonna be Wessmont some, and it was like that in the beginning. But you know, like all great teams, you know, egos get in the way, and that didn't happen like that. But we ended up just keeping it. Skeme was just always my name since I was like about 9, 10 years old. I heard that word. I heard what the word, and I heard what it meant, and that shit just kind of was like, I was able to identify with that. I was a grimy little motherfucker, so I like the name, and it got so common in my household. My mom even called me that. So.
For sure.
Wessmont Skeme.
Do you have any kids?
Yeah, like 17.
You have 17 kids?
Nah, bro. I got one child for sure, and there's like 2 that don't want to give me no DNA test.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I have one. I'm not as close with him because of all my time that I did in prison and all that stuff. Like his mom doesn't really get the opportunity to see the man that I become now, and I don't really blame her for it. You know what I'm saying? Because she was with me really when I was younger, like 17, before I went in and did all that stuff. So like I'm just glad she's keeping them healthy, she's keeping them alive, and she's educating them, you know, to a certain degree, and I respect that much. And I know one day we're gonna be able to unite, because you know, you can't keep me away from him forever. You know, he's gonna be grown at one point, and he's gonna want to come find stuff out. So I was always kind of like finding hope on that. That's really a large reason too why the homies got me to rap, because I told him that if I did do it, everything that was gonna be my percentage, I wanted to go to him, because I felt like I was not doing enough. So that was really a large motivation on why I even did this. To this day, a lot of the stuff's already gonna go in his name. Like I'm just trying to figure out how to really do it the right way legally. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to just be like, oh, just put it under his name, because it's not as simple as that. You know, I want him to actually own the stuff. So that's neither here nor there. But yeah, his name's Matthew.
What's the most important thing you would want to teach your son?
The most important thing I want to teach my son, and man, I thought about this a long time. It's a long list of stuff, but I think one of the most important things is that you got to save yourself, because nobody's going to come save you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that to be cynical or more in a pessimistic way. I just mean that, and quite the opposite really, is so you don't sit around waiting for anybody to come help you. You can get up off your ass and go do it yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to end up needing to be happening anyways. You know what I'm saying? Whether you do it for you or you do it for you having a family, whatever, right? So you got to go save yourself, because nobody's going to come save you. But I mean, there's a long list of stuff. Shit, I want to teach him how to shave, because nobody taught me. That's why my shit still look like it. So, you know what I'm saying? But that's just, you know, one of the deeper things. I've thought about that question for a long time, so, yeah. I'm
going to pause real quick and swap this battery out.
Okay. I thought my conversation was just trash.
No, you're good.
Whoa, bro. That Henny gonna smack the shit out of me when this interview's done. I know it is.
Yeah, the Hennessy.
As soon as we go outside and that wind hit me, you know when you get that temperature change, bro, you drunk, it's over.
All right, you ready? Have you ever had a regular job?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, man, the homies know this about me, man. So I started working ever since I was about like 11 years old for my little brother and sister's dad. Like I said, he was a painter. He took me to paint with him, obviously just being a fucking helper for the most part. I ended up learning, picking up the trade, doing that for a long time. I worked in a liquor store. I worked on a factory, on an assembly line. I've worked for other people doing construction, various construction jobs. I'm not ashamed to work. I think a lot of people too, they be on some like, you know, I'm not gonna do the 9 to 5. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna rob. I'm gonna do shit. I used to do all of the above and still go to work, because I see my mom do it. Like I said, like it ain't always enough money just doing one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to do both and shit. So I would for sure recommend to the youth to get a job before anything else, because even motherfuckers that want to do anything, any dream that you want to chase, it shit costs money. You know what I'm saying? Shit, even if you want to go be a truck driver, it costs money to get them licensed and take those classes. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks that it has to be that way, because I know that the whole point is that you trying to get money out of the situation, but it costs money to make money. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be a rapper, it costs money for the studio. You want to be an electrician, it costs money for those classes. So get a job, man, and be proud of it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be ashamed of working on 9 to 5, as long as you're getting money.
Definitely. Have you ever experienced racism?
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that, an example, or
I think
something that you learned?
I think where I come from, it's more like, obviously we experience the black and brown, right? Because we had those situations in the high schools and middle schools I come from. I never really hated the brothers like that, man, because I just grew up with them too much. I think the people that I did and was racist towards was white people, mostly because I used to view them as the enemy based off where I was at, if that make any sense, right? So when the people come shut off our lights, it was a white guy, happened to be a white guy, right? So it could have been a Mexican guy or a black guy, but it just happened to be a white guy. And when they came, you know, when it was the police fucking with us, they're white guys, you know what I'm saying? So it was always kind of like that. It wasn't until I grew up and I realized, you know, it's not like that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's not like that, if that make any sense. I'm just saying that it's not that deep, and Well, racism, bro. I think we all experience it, man. I think shit. I didn't see Mexicans be racist towards other Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see Asians be racist towards us, and shit. Us be racist towards Asians and all types. I didn't see it all. I worked in downtown LA too, man. So you know it's very diverse there. And like I've seen all of the above, and it's just one of those things where I think it exists, bro. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's all right. Me personally, bro, I was always taught by my mom, and the homies know this about me, like, because we grew up around blacks, right? And we grew up around different races. My thing is, if you real, you real, bro. And if you fake, you fake. I don't give a fuck. My mom used to say, I don't care if you yellow, purple, pink. I don't give a fuck what color you are. If you real, you real. And if you fake, you fake, right? So you differentiate the people in that mannerism based off character, not based off of skin color. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And, you know, it is what it is.
Who's your favorite people to work with as far as producers or engineers?
Oh, man. Yeah, shout out my boy YE, man. I'm not saying that that's my favorite person to work with, but shout out my boy YE, you know what I'm saying? Because he wants a shout out. Nah, you know what, man? That's my boy. Shout out to the people that helped me before everything else. Like, I love the people that I'm working with right now, man. Shout out to my boy Zay and Sal Treasy and everybody over there at OTR, you know, and all the other producers that have, like, did me the honor of letting me rap on their beats, you know what I'm saying? Like my boy F Beats and a couple of other, like Matt Bricks. Some people that I used to actually rap over beats with online and YouTube before I was, you know, taking it serious all the way. So shout out to them. But, you know, I got to give the credit to the people I started with. And, you know, to this day, we still build and we still, like, create. And I just feel like it's more about the chemistry more than the name. And like sometimes the bigger names, you get that chemistry with those people, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes they have that chemistry with other artists, and that's not saying that you're terrible or you're bad. It's just sometimes it just don't, you know what I'm saying? Sounds don't click, and it's all sonically, you know? It's all a sonic thing. It's like you hear that thing and you wanna jump on that beat, you wanna get on that kind of like airwave. But me, I gotta give it to my boy YE and FC, man. We built a lot of beautiful music, I believe. And even the ones that were a little bit more aggressive, I just think it was a great outcome what ended up happening, and the growth, not to mention the growth, you know what I'm saying? So like now that we already grew together, it's like I will say with YE we kind of growing a little bit faster than him, but it's cool, bro. He fast, so we gotta let him catch up. But the thing about it is that like if that growth shows you also like, okay, he willing to come and take it here. So next when we trying to take it to the next level, he's willing to take it there. Cool. As long as you're willing to learn, right? Because like wisdom is not based off the level of intelligence when told. It's based off whether they want to learn more. So it's like, cool. I don't care if you don't know it now. If you're willing to learn it, cool. We could both learn it together. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to YE, shout out to my boy FC, man, and yeah.
Well, outside of any type of like streams or whatever the fans' opinions are, what in your opinion, what's your best song, your favorite song?
Oh man, that's crazy. Hey, I like this guy's questions, man. We have these a lot of these questions we have conversations about. Like, I think the song or verse.
Either one.
Cause I think there's a big difference, right? Cause I've made like songs where I'm like, okay, I love the whole complete version of this song. Like I love this feeling and everything. But there's some verses where I'm like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I did a couple freestyles on a Coastline. I don't know if you checked those out, man. Man, I was about to start rapping them right now. I kind of got it. It was one of those things, bro, because I everybody knows me that knows I'm not the type of person to be cocky, bro. But I am confident, you know what I'm saying? So those are one of those like verses that I give myself a pat on the back, and I'm like, hey, bro, you gotta take it. I even tell myself like, you gotta take it back there. Like, I be jealous of my own verse, bro. Like I made the verse, and I be jealous of this shit. Like, nah, bro, you gotta take it back there. So I will say those freestyles on Coastline, for sure, some of my favorite work. As whole songs though, bro, there's a lot of songs that people don't know about that are not as popular that I feel like we did some pretty good work, man. My boy Psycho and us and me and him got a tape called From Vermont to Broadway, and we got a lot of songs on there that I'm very proud of, like just the overall like chemistry and the back and forth on that and the concepts and staying on topic. So, you know, shout out to him, shout out my boy Psycho 83rd.
What are you listening to daily besides yourself? Like, what are you slapping in the whip?
I mean, I think the rest of I'm just gonna be like the rest of the West Coast. Kendrick, I mean, the shit. It's not even just because I'm West Coast, bro. The shit dope, man. You know what I'm saying? I like the sparring, man. I like the friendly fucking sparring and shit. Even though it got a little bit crazy right there, but I'm saying it's like I like that in hip hop. I like all that little buddy shit's cool too, man. Let's make some great music together. Let's make some great art. You know what I'm saying? Let's make some timeless music. But when it come down to really seeing who could spit and who could not spit, I feel like that's like a very needed thing every once in a while in hip hop. You know, like I believe that. So like when I even tell people that, even my own homeboys, I tell the homie Cycle, man, we do a lot of music together, and I tell them every time I get in the booth, bro, I'm trying to do 10,000 times better than you. I'm coming for your head, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, Diddy, but because I'm trying to press the issue, like, I'm letting you know, bro, is that you can't show no mercy on the mic. And it's not that I'm coming to diss you. I'm just going to, like, I'm gonna out rap you, like
Yeah.
just simple as that. So I'm listening to a lot of that, but I mean overall, bro, like the homies know we listen to a lot of like underground stuff too, like battle rap and a lot of still East Coast classics. Like bro, my favorite rappers is Nas, Jadakiss, Big Pun, Big L. So on a daily basis, like I'm waking up drinking coffee, taking a shit, listening to that. So like that start my day off. Like Rewind dude is still to this day. I don't even know what kind of fucking weed this dude must have been smoking to write Rewind. Like Nas, and then Gave You Power. Then Jadakiss just always come and just bar up. So I could listen to him and Fabulous bar up all day.
For sure.
But yeah, I be trying not to. I try not to intake too much of the music of nowadays. I listen to it. I see what quote unquote the competition is, right? And I put in quotations because ain't nobody can see me. But I'm saying is that I pay attention so I can know what not to do. Okay, like they did this, they doing this. Let me go ahead and find my own way, you know? So I don't imitate them. So I try not to take too much of that music in and like let it resonate with me too long. But yeah.
What's your creative process like? You like to write or punch in or you freestyle?
In the beginning, I was the homies know, because I mean, I was a big writer because of prison. I had a lot of like bars just hit in my head, and the homies even know like it wasn't even about physically writing them down because I be having them in my head. So that's why when people be like, oh, you write it down, even when it's in my head, it's technically kind of like on some like punching in shit. But the punching in stuff is like newer because the young homies doing it, and I'm not a big fan of it. I've seen people make some magic out of it. You know what I'm saying? So like, excuse me, it's one of those things that there's like there's more than one way to skin a cat, or how to say. So as long as you get there and the product is what it is, it's dope. Because, you know, there's stories of Dr. Dre telling dudes they got to rap one word at a time or one line at a time. And because that's how much of a perfectionist he was. So me, I love taking the beat home and writing to it, especially if it's a deeper, soulful beat and the topic matter is that much more deeper. Or especially if I'm getting in my zone and I want to go and just like out rap everybody. Like when I be making freestyles to go on Power 106 or back on Fig or the Corner Store, like I know that those are platforms that they focus on like rapping, right? They focus on like, all right, what can you bring to the table? So I'm not trying to go over there with my little club bangers and all the little shit. Like, nah, I'm going to rap. So it just depends. But like, I be in the studio now, bro, and we create right there, and I write there. It's not my favorite, but you know, we just made that happen last night. So,
you ever try to make your own beats?
One thing I have learned is that I be on some producer shit. Like I basically make the beats, but I can't fuck with the computer, bro. Like I can say it, I'm not a big fan of the internet and technology, period. Like I don't fuck with chat snap, bro. I just barely got an Instagram. I only got it because the homies made it. But I'm saying is that I know I gotta learn it, bro. Like I gotta learn how to record. I was already learning how to record myself, but the shit be frustrating me so much. So I just be like, fuck this shit, because I'm more of creating in my head and you know, like getting that like the art out. And then the rest, like, let the professionals do their job. It's not that I'm mad because I can't do it, because I know I could learn it. It's just like, okay, when I have time to sit down and learn it, I think I'll take that time. But right now, I'm more on the creative process and let the professionals do their job. Because this is not the time for me to be learning, because, you know, this is like the time where we get in the spotlight a little bit, you know? Like, when I got signed, everybody thought, oh, yeah, we got signed. Hell yeah, let's celebrate. But I'm like, bro, we just got hired. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just got hired. Like, we got signed, but that's what we did. We got hired. We still got to come and show up to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to come and show these people why they signed us and let them know, like, we got to come and make this money back. So, with that being said, we try to take it a little bit more a little bit more serious. So, yeah, I don't be trying to fuck around on the beats, bro.
Let's say I'm 18 years old. I just got out of high school. I want to be a rapper. What should I do?
Get a job.
Yeah.
Get
some
job.
funding.
Get a job, bro. Find people that have a common goal. So I say that to say this: you're a rapper that wants to start at 18 years old. Trust and believe you could find an engineer that's also 18 years old, or 17, or 19, or 20. That also is probably barely starting. That also probably doesn't have no money. Now you know one thing and he knows one thing. Cool, y'all can help each other. But I think there's a lot of shame on the internet where people don't want to get on there and ask, you know, for the help. But I'm like, bro, if I was 18 years old and I was fresh out of high school and I wanted to be a rapper, I'll get a job and I'll find somebody else that wanted to be a producer or wanted to be a rapper too. And shit, we be a whole group. If I got $20 and you got $20 and you got $20, that's 2 hours in the studio. Fuck it, let's go with a song ready. Let's get it done. Let's take it serious. You know, but people want to go to the studio and have fun, bro, and take pictures and post it on Instagram. And I'm trying to go to the studio and work. The homies will tell you I turn into a different person when I'm in there, bro. I'm an asshole. They call me Suge Knight, bro, but I'm nowhere that big, and I'm also not black, bro. So, but I do got the same suit, though. You know what I'm saying? That's probably where they get it from.
What do you think most rappers could improve?
The writing process. Taking it seriously, man. Let's be real, man. They're not taking this shit seriously. And I get it. It's fun. Like I said, man, most of them doing it. They having fun. They're young, and it's so accessible and so easy to do now. it's like, why not, right? I could be the most famous dude at my high school if I started doing my little rap thing, right? So I'm not hating on them, but just take it seriously. Like, I just have so much respect for the music, bro, where I feel like I'll be that old guy in the circle when people start talking about hip hop, because even though I'm like 28, bro, I'm already like, man, nah, bro, y'all don't know shit about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because the homies already put me on game on the, like, and my thing is like, I've not only studied the old hip hop, I didn't get stuck there either. Like, I paid attention to the process up to where it's at now, and I see what happened and who changed the sound and who changed the times, and when it went from the East Coast to the West Coast to down south to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's one of those things where I pay attention to it, and I respect it so much that I would just wish and hope and pray that the next generation just respected it a little bit more. Like, take the writing process a little bit more serious, and stop repeating yourself, stop saying the same thing every other rapper saying. You know, try to be witty, try to get some metaphors, similes, learn about alliteration, learn about, you know what I'm saying, what is that, consonants and assonance, I mean, yeah, like, learn about all that, man. Learn about some personification and all that stuff. Just all you gotta do is Google those words and then you can learn them, right? So go ahead, that's it, there you go.
You think reading helps with
I think reading helps, but only when you're actually reading to retain the information. So I said this a lot to people, because the homies be like, well, I read a lot of books in camp. But I'm like, you was reading books because you was bored. You was probably reading Harry Potter books, so it's not bad. I'm not hating. You still get a certain like, your brain is still working, right? But my whole thing is that when I was reading historic books, or like Howard Zinn's The People History of the United States. So I'm not only reading, but I'm also retaining information. And all the while, I was also seeing how the author was writing and how he was speaking and how to articulate and form your sentences. Like, how you forming the sentences so it could be proper. Instead of saying, you know, like, them and me, you know what I'm saying, myself, you know what I'm saying, just little stuff like that. And I feel like that helps, and if you actually pay attention to it, you will learn it, if you know that that's what you're supposed to be doing. But some of the people just open the book, and even though if they start reading, they're not really retaining the information, you know what I'm saying? So I think reading is not as simple as people just make it to be. You got to actually, you know, read something that you're interested in so you can retain that information. Shit, write yourself a summary. You're not in school no more, but just write yourself a summary to see how you would summarize the book. You know what I'm saying? So you could actually know that this is what I retained from the book, this is what I remember, and these are key parts, and, you know, but that's neither here nor there, man. Just overall educating themselves is a good start for sure.
For you personally as an artist, where do you think you could improve?
Consistency. I always feel like I could do more. I feel like I could do more. I feel like I need to start a lot of things that I've been wanting to start already. So most definitely procrastinating a lot. I need to improve on just getting it done. I'm just one of those people where I like to make sure that it's presentable before we present it. But sometimes you kind of got to show the work in progress, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to see that house down the street that's been getting built for a year, but then when they finish with it, you know what I'm saying, it ended up being what it is, and it looked nice. So I don't know, I think I need to stop playing with it and just kind of put my projects and my passions more out there. For sure.
What's the best piece of advice anyone's ever gave you?
Damn. There's a lot of them. Man, that's a good one. All the ones that I'm thinking about came from crackheads and pimps, but they were pretty good piece of advice. Like, a crackhead once told me that the best head he ever got was from a bitch with no teeth. So if you could find a suction cup bitch, that'd be. But I also like learned some very deep, you know, like very, very serious lessons. I just can't think about them right now. But I have received a lot of great pieces of information. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to the crackheads.
What's the biggest lesson you learned from being in the music industry?
Man, everything ain't what it seemed, man. I mean, I pretty much knew that already, too, just knowing, but I'm just saying, like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. These dudes ain't gangsters. These dudes ain't like that, man. These dudes ain't never sold drugs in their life. These dudes ain't never did all the shit that they said they do. If they was in jail, if they was in prison, they was not what they said they was doing, man. It was not like that. So everything ain't what it seems. Don't be so eager to get up in here. Just make your music if that's what you want to make, if that's your passion. Make your music, focus on making your music and getting that artistry out to whoever's gonna listen, because your target audience that you probably shooting for is not the people that you're gonna get as fans. You wanna get all the fans of your favorite rapper, but you know, you're gonna put out your own art that's gonna create your own sound and that's gonna create your own fans. So everything what it seems, man.
So you signed to OTR somewhat recently?
Yeah. About like 6 months ago, I think.
How did that come about? How did that happen?
It was a couple of different people. One of my homeboys from my neighborhood, man, shout out to him. He ended up putting in the word, and he knew Soulless from back then, so that already put me like above the list. And then ended up being another gentleman that already knew me. He ended up managing. He was a manager of a couple other dudes, and he was already close to Soulless, so he ended up presenting. Well, Soulless asked him if he knew of any artists, and he presented my name. So we ended up getting a meeting, showed him, you know, some music that we had, and I think having a conversation was one of the more key factors of the meeting, which I appreciated, because, you know, like, you could hear some stuff from people's music, but, you know, when you really sit down and talk to them, you get a better understanding. And I always like face-to-face talking, bro. I'm used to picking up girls on the street where you actually still have to fucking ask for their number, and when you call their house phone, you still gotta ask for their fucking, when their mom pick up, like, no se encuentra Maria? Like, yeah, I still gotta. So, like, to me, face-to-face interactions is always better. So I appreciate the fact that he gave me that. And then after that, man, it was pretty simple after that, bro. Like, I think it was just one of those, like, yeah, let's get it on paper and let's get it done.
For sure. You have any hobbies outside of music?
Fuck, dude. Nah, dude. I'm gonna be like a fucking cliche. I be doing music, dude. Even when I'm not doing music, I'll be like doing music. I like watching movies. So.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Fucking Return of the Big Booty Latinas on Pornhub. Not just paying. It's nah, man. Top 5 for sure, because I don't have a favorite movie, because I'm a big like movie person. I'm telling you, I used to sell bootleg movies. But for sure, Training Day, The Departed, a movie called 999, which has as many twists and turns as The Departed. Step Brothers, throw some comedy in there. And, we got Blood In, Blood Out. You know, so look at
For sure.
Stay straight, pendejo.
You have a message for the youth, the young up and coming?
The message I have for the youth, man, is pretty consistent. It's always the same, is educate yourself. That don't mean go to school. That don't mean stay in school, because we already know that the Western civilization curriculum for what they teach in school is to create a workforce and not to create free thinkers. So my whole thing is to educate yourself. Like, yeah, stay in school, listen to what they're telling you, because, you know, you are going to need some algebra and the math stuff. But as far as the history and all that stuff, you got to educate yourself on where you come from and who you are, because then you get a better understanding on where you are at in life, and where you came from shows where you were going to take a stand at, right? So it's like, educate yourself, know what really happened in history, know the events that really took place. Don't let other people tell you. Go and do your own research. Like, shit, even if I tell you, you know, you got to take what everybody has to say with a grain of salt. So you got to go do your own research and go find out about it yourself. And yeah, just educate yourself, man, and just pass that on to the next generation, whether it be your kids, whether it be your little cousins or your little homies or your little brother. Tell them to educate themselves also, you know what I'm saying? I just think that's always a big message that gets skipped over in our people, bro, because in the system, I've seen a lot of our people and we were not educated. And you know what I'm saying? It saddened me deeply, because like, just the basic writing and reading, like, I mean, the basic writing and reading is like, wasn't even there for a lot of homies. And you know what? We got to do better, you know what I'm saying? So we got to go ahead and make that decision to do that shit ourselves and teach the next generation to do that.
If you could go back and give yourself advice to, say, 20 years old, what would you tell yourself?
Stay the fuck from 102nd in Vermont. That's what I'll tell myself. Nah, if I could go back to 20, man, if I was 20. When I was 20, the crazy thing about it is that's when I was having my journey through prison the first time, and I think it was one of those things where I needed that first prison term, because I learned about responsibility, I learned about honesty, and I learned about forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? And it was a moment in my life where it was just weird. I had an epiphany, bro. Like, it wasn't necessarily a spiritual one. It was just, I started realizing, like, damn, bro, you know what? I got to start blaming everybody for what I did, and I got to stop holding on to this anger for what people did to me. You know what I'm saying? Even the people that don't want to admit it, but you know they did you wrong, and fuck it. Like, I learned all about that. So if I could go back to 20 years old, all I would say is to just stay on that path of learning more about yourself mentally, emotionally. Because, you know, like, I was kind of already in a good mind state, I would say, at 20. Because I got out right at 21, went right back to prison. But that's why I would tell myself to stay on that path, because when I got out, I was influenced by events that had took place in my life, and I let that anger lead me going right back to prison. And it wasn't right, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I'm mad, I'm going to go back to prison. Like, that's not how men do shit. You know, I should have been able to control my emotions. So, yeah, I would go back and maybe just tell myself, chill the fuck out.
For sure. What's your biggest goal in life? What do you want to accomplish?
Success, overall success, man. I know that's kind of like too vague of an answer, but It just comes with. I can't necessarily tell you what it's gonna come with. I just want to make sure that we leave our mark in history and establish our names and people to remember us for whatever it may be. But I don't know if that's going to be music. I don't know if that's going to be the productions. I don't know if that's going to be comedy. I don't know if that's going to be movies or whatever it may be. Shit, it might be starting our own electricity electrical company, my bad. I'm just saying, no matter what it is, bro, I just want overall success. I don't care how I get there. I want to be able to have my little land and grow my crops and, you know what I'm saying, have my livestock and filter my own water. I want to have enough money to do that, and after that, I'll be good, bro. Listen to some music all day after that.
Are you interested in other types of business outside of music?
Absolutely. Like I said, anything, man. Like the homies know bro, I used to send all type of little shit, like everything from like vending machines to car wash little, you know, vans to like just any little thing that we could start up, right? That'll make some like passive money, some passive income. So I'm just like, man, we gotta kind of start getting like, you gotta dip your toe in the business and learn about taking the losses on a smaller scale before I feel like we take it there. But you know, like everything comes at a certain time for a reason. For
sure. You think saving money is important?
Absolutely. I'm terrible at fucking my money management.
Yeah.
Terrible.
A lot of people are.
Terrible. You know what? That's what I'm saying. Like financial literacy, it's like a big thing they don't teach in our curriculum, right? And I just feel like we would be so much better off as a society, just economically speaking, right? If we actually taught the generation after us how to actually invest and save their money and put it into making us a more successful, more wealthy country. But they don't teach that, bro. They teaching teaching you to be a worker. So financial literacy is like a big thing, bro. Like if I hadn't had a couple of my homies that taught me about opening bank accounts and doing this and I'm not saying it's not as simple as that, bro, because it's really deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying is that we should start teaching that, man, to the youth. You know, helping a couple of the homies at a younger age open up some bank accounts. So by the time they turn 18, they got a little bit of money to work with. You know, but it's neither here nor there.
For sure. Do you believe in God?
I believe in a entity, most depth. I don't know if it's what a lot of people would describe as a God. I just believe some for sure out there, man. There's just been too much things that happen in my life for me not to at least believe something's going on. You know what I'm saying? But like I don't, you know, to a certain extent, I'm agnostic about it because I really don't have enough information about it. But I will say, if I'm on any kind of path, it's the path to trying to figure out some kind of truth behind that. Because, like I said, man, too much shit has happened and maybe I just ain't listening.
What are you looking forward to in the future?
Life, shit, just being alive, really. I don't have to be doing anything special, bro. I'm a very simple man. You know what I'm saying? If I'm around people I fuck with, if I got some weed and a good fucking meal, I think I'm pretty happy. So just the only thing I look forward to is just being alive, actually.
You ever gone through depression?
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of motherfuckers deal with that shit even from time to time, bro, and they might deal with that shit, get it out their system. But yeah, a lot of homies be depressed, especially, man. You know, man, we don't be, we joke away our pain. We just talk shit.
What advice do you have for someone who's, you know?
My advice, bro, I mean, it's one of those, I'll be hypocritical if I gave you advice on it because I still don't know how to deal with it, really. I just kind of push through it. It's not healthy, though, because I've studied psychology and things that, you know, when you bottle up your emotions, do all that shit, it is not healthy. But I mean, I just push through it, so I'm not a nobody to give anybody advice on that, because shit, when you got advice for me, let me know. Yeah, I'm trying to, hit me in the comments, let me know what you be doing to go through that.
Yeah, for sure. That's all my questions, bro. You got anything else up and coming you want to shout out, or anything else you want to talk about?
Well, first and foremost, I do want to say un chingo de gracias to Life from the Gutter, man, and to you, man. I appreciate you for having me. Like I said, we've been paying attention. We fans, man. We appreciate the artistry and what you're doing for the culture.
Appreciate it.
Shout out my boy Sammy VSC, man. Holla at him. Jerry Wessmont, the album coming soon from OTR. You already know we got some really good, nice music on there, bro. And just know we coming hard, bro. We coming to stay. And we, like I said, y'all gonna remember the name, man. Wessmont. That's pretty much it.
Cool, man. Excited to see it. That's a wrap.
S. Oh, yeah. You smoked that whole plant?